Korea is a very small country, so we has a little competence, in my personal opinion. We had a little competitiveness in the drug business, the biopharma business. But in the IVD business, doesn't require the huge investment. So in Korea, there are many competitive IVD companies, including the molecular diagnostics, like a Seegene. So we are looking for our opportunity in the IVD business rather than the pharmaceuticals. But I think in China has a big investment in the pharmaceutical and also now on the IVD business. I think based on the huge market in China, China IVD business also can make a good progress and the world competitiveness in the future, I think. Seegene is a very small company, about 245 people only, but we think that we can gather the ideas of the peoples, and the new ideas from several guys can be totally change the whole system or the technology, core technology itself. So actually the three core technologies of ours, DPO and TOS and UDT technology came out only 3 or several guys. So we invest on the developing the kind of new technology development itself instead of the whole package or developing the sales network or something. So we think that kind of only chemistry development is our strong point. So we will focus on that. In other business field, we collaborate or partnership with global companies who have that powers. Seegene is good at the high multiplex real-time PCR regions, so we are focusing on the multiple screening for some specific symptoms like respiratory syndrome or sexual transmitted infections or the HPV test or tuberculosis. So mostly the infectious disease field we are focusing on. I think the strong point of our reagent is we can apply to the current real-time PCR system that is installed in the most of the hospitals. So they don't need to change the instrument. We don't need to invest on the instrumentations. So we can reduce the time and cost. Actually, we are looking for some partnership with the pharmaceutical companies. It is pleasure for us if our technology and the data can be helpful for the drug development, I think, yeah. Actually, I'm not familiar with the pharmaceutical market, but that is my personal idea because in Korea, the pharmaceutical company, their revenue size is very small compared to the global companies. So it is not easy to develop new drugs in Korea. So most of the companies, they just resell the global company's drug into Korean market. That's the current situation. So that is the weakness. I think that is the weakness of Korean pharmaceutical companies. So, but in the IVD companies, we can compete with the global companies because IVD business doesn't require that much high investment for the development. Yeah, our HPV product can not only screening the high-risk genotype, but also can independently identify specific genotypes of high risk. And also, nowadays, more and more companies are interested in the correct genotyping, not only the screening. So we can provide the 14 high-risk genotyping identification in a single tube real-time PCR reactions. And recently we had some clinical validation process from the key opinion leader in Europe, the Chris Myers, and recently we got the Korean FDA approval and also reimbursement. So now we are the #1 market share in the HPV diagnosis in the hospital market in Korea. And now, after getting the clinical validation from Chris Meyer, we are actively promoting our HPV high risk in the European market. And later on, we will discussing with some global partners about the FDA process of our HPV products. At the moment, we are focusing on the infectious disease, so we don't have other cancer screening items. At the moment, we have no business activity at all in China, so we are looking for some partnership in Chinese local companies. At the moment, we are not familiar with the market situation and the R&D circumstances in China, so we are thinking that we can start from the simple small partnership, and later on we can further think about the R&D relationship to develop next generation of the IVD systems. Yeah, we are very much interested in that kind of business model because as the FDA process will take time, and we need to some kind of investment for the sales network or the process, so we can do that kind of LDT business. Then yeah, that is one of our good business model. I think that is the main issues for the reimbursement system of how we can get like a high multiple detection as for the reimbursement. So we definitely, I think we need some discussion with the key opinion leader in China, and need to good persuasion for the government side about reimbursement. Yeah, even though we can cover multiple pathogens, but we can provide the very cost effectively compared to the single or dual plex test.